It begins with something so strange that no one understands it at first. A man in a kitchen in Madrid opens his refrigerator and pours water into a glass. Or at least he tries to. The bottle is empty. He frowns and shakes it. Nothing comes out. Across the world, millions of people are having the exact same moment. A woman in New York turns on the tap in her sink. Nothing. A child in Tokyo opens a bottle of juice. The bottle is dry. A fisherman on the Pacific Ocean looks over the edge of his boat and sees something impossible. The ocean is gone. Where endless blue water once stretched across the horizon, there is now a vast, empty basin of exposed seabed, stretching for thousands of kilometers. Ships begin falling. Cargo vessels that once floated safely on the ocean suddenly drop dozens of meters as the water beneath them disappears. Massive steel hulls crash onto the rocky floor below. Fishing boats tilt sideways and shatter. Oil tankers split open against underwater ridges. Across every ocean on Earth, millions of tons of ships slam into the ground within seconds. But the oceans are only the beginning. Every river on Earth vanishes. The Amazon, the Nile, the Mississippi, the Yangtze, all of them become long, empty scars cutting through the land. Waterfalls stop midair as the water feeding them disappears instantly. Niagara Falls becomes silent. The enormous curtain of water that once thundered over the cliffs is gone. Tourists standing nearby stare in disbelief at bare rock. But something even stranger happens in the sky. Clouds vanish. The entire atmosphere changes color as billions of tons of water vapor disappear in an instant. The sky becomes clearer than it has ever been in human history. No clouds, no mist, just an endless blue dome above the planet. Within minutes, panic spreads across cities everywhere. People rush to sinks, refrigerators, and water bottles. But every container is empty. Glasses, bottles, reservoirs, swimming pools. Every drop of liquid water on Earth has vanished. Even the water stored inside factories and underground tanks is gone. The realization spreads quickly. Earth has lost its water. All of it. The oceans that once covered 70% of the planet have disappeared. The rivers that fed entire civilizations are dry. The lakes that held trillions of liters of fresh water are empty basins. But scientists immediately notice something even more terrifying. Water is not just outside the human body. It is inside it. The human body is made of roughly 60% water. Blood, cells, organs, all depend on it. If all water truly vanished everywhere, humans should already be dead. But something strange has happened. The water inside living organisms has not disappeared. At least not yet. For reasons no one can explain, only free water, the water in oceans, rivers, lakes, clouds, pipes, and bottles has vanished. Biological water remains inside plants, animals, and humans. For now, scientists immediately begin calculating what this means. The planet has just lost over 1.3 billion cubic kilometers of water. That water once regulated Earth's entire climate system. Oceans stored heat from the sun and slowly released it into the atmosphere. Now that system is gone. Within hours, temperatures begin changing. During the day, the surface of the planet heats much faster than before. Without oceans to absorb energy, sunlight strikes land directly. Deserts become dangerously hot. Cities begin warming rapidly. But nighttime becomes the opposite. Without the thermal buffer of oceans, heat escapes quickly into space. Temperatures drop sharply after sunset. The climate begins swinging between extremes. Meanwhile, another catastrophic change unfolds. The exposed ocean floor reveals landscapes humans have never seen. Gigantic mountain ranges stretch across the Atlantic basin. Deep trenches drop more than 10 kilometers below sea level. Ancient volcanic ridges snake across the Pacific. But the beauty of these hidden landscapes lasts only moments, because marine life is dying everywhere. Fish, whales, dolphins, sharks, and billions of smaller creatures lie stranded across the dry seabed. Entire ecosystems collapse instantly. The oceans once contained the largest living system on Earth. Now it is a graveyard, and the smell begins spreading. Billions of tons of decaying marine life release gases into the air. The atmosphere changes rapidly. Meanwhile, ships stranded across the seabed create another bizarre sight. Cargo vessels lie tilted on rocky slopes. Submarines sit motionless in deep trenches. Naval fleets rest on exposed underwater plains. For the first time in history, humans can see the entire floor of the ocean. But no one is celebrating, because humanity has a much more urgent problem: drinking water. Within hours, the world realizes there is none left. No lacs, no rivers, no reservoirs. The water supply for every city on Earth has vanished. Water treatment plants stand silent. Pipes carry nothing. Fountains stop flowing. People begin experiencing thirst almost immediately. Without access to water, the human body can survive only about 3 days. Governments declare global emergencies. But there is nothing to distribute. There are no hidden reserves. The planet simply has no liquid water left. Farmers watch their fields begin drying under the sun. Plants wilt within hours.
Agriculture collapse instantly.
The entire food system begins breaking down. But scientists are even more terrified about the long-term consequences. Water was not only essential for life, it was essential for the planet itself. Oceans regulated temperature. They controlled weather patterns. They transported heat around the globe through currents. Now those systems are gone. Within days, the Earth begins behaving more like a desert planet. Winds grow stronger as temperature differences increase. Dust storms sweep across dried ocean basins. Entire regions experience violent climate instability. And as humanity struggles to understand what happened, one question echoes everywhere. Where did the water go? Because something powerful enough to remove every drop of water from Earth has just rewritten the rules of life on this planet. The first day without water feels unreal. At first, people believe the problem might somehow reverse itself. Perhaps the oceans will return. Perhaps scientists will discover that the water has moved somewhere underground. But as the hours pass, the truth becomes clear. Earth is now a dry planet. Every ocean basin remains empty. Every riverbed is nothing but cracked soil and exposed stone. And the sky remains perfectly clear. Not a single cloud anywhere on the planet. Without water vapor, the atmosphere has changed dramatically. Sunlight reaches the ground with brutal intensity during the day. Cities begin heating faster than ever before. In deserts, temperatures rise to unbearable levels. Meanwhile, the nights become freezing. Without oceans to store heat, the planet loses warmth rapidly once the sun disappears. The temperature swings between extreme heat and deep cold. But for humanity, the most urgent threat is much simpler. Thirst. The human body can survive weeks without food. But without water, survival is measured in days. Within the first 24 hours, people begin desperately searching for any remaining source of liquid. Refrigerators are opened again and again. Pipes are checked. Old bottles are shaken in hope that a few drops might remain. There are none. Every drop of free water on Earth vanished. Even ice has disappeared. Glaciers that once covered Greenland and Antarctica are gone. The polar regions are now vast, dry landscapes of exposed rock. For the first time in human history, the South Pole is not surrounded by ice. It is surrounded by emptiness. Meanwhile, something horrifying begins happening across the exposed ocean floors. Marine life that survived the initial shock cannot survive the environment. Fish lie motionless across endless seabeds. Whales that once ruled the oceans now rest helplessly in enormous trenches. Within hours, decomposition begins. The smell spreads across continents. Billions of tons of organic material begin decaying under the open sky. But even this is only a temporary phase. Because without water, bacteria and microorganisms struggle to survive as well. Soon the decay slows, leaving enormous fields of lifeless bodies across the planet. The oceans, once the center of life on Earth, become silent deserts. Meanwhile, humanity's attention turns toward the atmosphere. Scientists realize something terrifying. Water was not just important for drinking, it was essential for the air itself. The atmosphere once contained large amounts of water vapor, which helped regulate temperature and support weather systems. Now that vapor is gone. Rain is impossible. Storms disappear. Cloud formation no longer exists. Earth's climate system collapses almost instantly. But the biggest danger comes from another place entirely. Plants. Almost every plant on Earth depends on water stored in soil. Without groundwater, trees begin dying within hours. Leaves wilt. Grass turns brittle. Crops fail immediately. Farmers across the world watch entire harvests collapse in a single day. Within 2 days, forests begin turning brown. Within a week, massive areas of vegetation die completely. The planet's green surface fades rapidly. Photosynthesis slows dramatically as plants lose the water needed to maintain cellular function. And as plants die, oxygen production decreases. The Earth's entire life support system begins failing. But humanity is still alive. For now, the water inside human bodies has not vanished. Yet people begin losing it quickly through breathing, sweating, and natural biological processes. Without external water to replace it, dehydration begins spreading everywhere. The first symptoms appear within a day. Dry mouths, headaches, dizziness, weakness. Hospitals are quickly overwhelmed. Doctors understand what is happening, but they cannot stop it. There is no treatment, no fluid to give patients. Within 2 days, millions of people begin collapsing. By the 3rd day, the crisis becomes global. Entire cities grow quiet as people become too weak to move. Governments attempt desperate solutions. Scientists search for ways to extract water from unexpected sources. Some propose capturing moisture from the air. But the atmosphere is now extremely dry. Without oceans, there is almost no humidity left. Others attempt chemical reactions to generate water artificially. But these reactions require hydrogen and oxygen in controlled conditions, and they produce only tiny amounts compared to what humanity needs. Meanwhile, the planet itself continues transforming. Without oceans pressing against continents, the weight distribution of Earth changes. Ocean basins once held enormous mass. Now they are empty. Tectonic stress shifts across the crust. Earthquakes increase dramatically. Volcanoes erupt along exposed underwater ridges that had been hidden beneath the sea for millions of years. Entire mountain ranges appear along the ocean floor. Gigantic trenches stretch across continents. Humanity is witnessing the true shape of the planet for the first time. But few people are left with the strength to study it. As dehydration spreads, survival becomes nearly impossible. The human body loses the ability to regulate temperature. Blood thickens, organs begin shutting down, and by the 4th day, most of humanity is gone. But the planet remains. Earth continues orbiting the sun. The winds sweep across the empty ocean basins. Dust storms travel thousands of kilometers through dry valleys that were once underwater. Without water, the planet begins resembling something else entirely. Mars, a dry world with vast canyons and empty basins where oceans once existed. Life that once thrived everywhere becomes rare. Only a few microorganisms survive in deep underground environments where tiny pockets of moisture remain trapped in rock. But the surface of the Earth becomes silent. Cities crumble slowly under extreme temperatures. Plants turn to dust. Animals disappear. The oceans remain empty forever. And somewhere in the quiet deserts that once held the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, the exposed seabed stretches to the horizon, a reminder of what the planet once had. Because water was never just another substance. It was the foundation of every ecosystem, every climate system, and every living organism on Earth. Without it, the blue planet becomes something entirely different. A world of stone and dust. A world where life once existed, but can no longer survive.